Through the vast growth of electronic devices, social media, and the internet, the act of cyberbullying has emerged. Children, especially teens and adults, are cyberbullied daily via texting, the internet, and social media. Consider the case of Megan Meyer, a 13-year-old girl who struggled with attention deficit disorder, her weight, and depression. Although she was in therapy, she was an easygoing teenager who loved people. One day, a boy named Josh sent her a friend request through MySpace. The two soon became cyber friends. After several months of happy friendship, the relationship changed one day as he no longer wanted to be her friend. She was confused and asked him what he meant, but his messages became mean. The next day, he went public with his mean comments on her MySpace page, which was even more hurtful because they were no longer private messages, but public posts that everyone could see. Others joined in on the bullying, calling her names she'd never been called before in her life. Megan cried and told her mom that people were being mean to her on the internet. Later that day, after having enough, she committed suicide by hanging herself 3 weeks before her 14th birthday. Stories like this have become more common over the last decade and are raising new legal questions related to cyberspace. Are the current laws addressing cyberbullying in the United States outdated, and do they fit the modern technological world that keeps moving forward? Not only are the laws too vague addressing cyberbullying, but they are too outdated. These laws need to be revised, and the qualifications for what constitutes cyberbullying needs to be addressed. There need to be more strict consequences made for these actions. Cyberbullying was an issue before it became acknowledged and given a name. With the progression of internet technology came the advancements of social media and cyberbullying, which was labeled as social networking harassment. This opportunity to speak freely became exploited as some users decided to harm others without considering how their actions would affect others. However, many people do not know that the First Amendment does not protect lewd and libelous speech, profane speech, insulting and fighting words that incite an immediate breach of peace. As of 2019, 49 out of the 50 states have laws that pertain to bullying. 20 of these specifically state cyberbullying in their legislation. Montana is the only state in the United States that currently does not have a cyberbullying law in place. After researching and reviewing the laws that the states have regarding bullying and cyberbullying, it is not a criminal offense and often put into schools' hands to create their own policy. Very few states address bullying that takes place off campus. The one state with the strongest legislation for cyberbullying is Massachusetts. Massachusetts Senate Bill 2404 prohibits bullying at schools and through electronic communications and devotes an entire paragraph to cyberbullying. Senate Bill 2323 makes bullying a crime and punishable by a fine or imprisonment. A federal bill titled the Megan Meyer Cyberbullying Prevention Act that proposes to fine or imprison cyberbullies is introduced in 2009. Sadly, the bill dies in Congress and is never passed. Cyberbullying is the worst form of bullying. It occurs at any time or anywhere. The bully has full access to his victims around the clock at all times despite location. Not only is time and location a great factor that makes cyberbullying the worst of its kind, but so is the audience. Cyberbullying takes place on the internet, which is a host of millions of people that can view and access the harm that is being done onto a cyber victim. In terms of bullying, the larger an audience is, the more the victim will be humiliated. Lastly, the worst form of bullying is bullying that is not physically visible. In terms of face-to-face bullying can leave a visible mark if physical confrontation occurs. This mark is easily identified as a result of bullying, and usually anyone who sees it is to seek help. On the other hand, cyberbullying leaves the victim with severe psychological trauma, leaving him or her without any physical trace of being harmed. An unseen act is less likely to be acknowledged as a seen act. These three characteristics that cyberbullying entails has a severe and unhealthy impact on the victim and should be criminalized. Cyberbullying is the worst form of bullying and should be legislated as criminal behavior because it rises to the level of criminal harassment. Therefore, it needs to have proper legislation enacted. With the growth of social networking, cyberbullying has become more and more common, especially between teenagers. What makes cyberbullying different from traditional bullying is the medium in which it occurs. Cyberbullying takes place using electronic technology such as smartphones, tablets, and computers. One of the many potentially toxic elements that the social media has to offer is the bully's ease of access to his or her victim. What makes cyberbullying so much more significant is that it can happen anytime, anywhere. On social media, bullies can contact their victims around the clock, in any location. This is similar in a way to being stalked, but through the cyberspace. Since social media platforms make it easier for people to connect with one another in numerous ways, so the bully has a chance to get closer to the victims every single time. The crimes that are being committed when one partakes in cyberbullying include slander and harassment. These two crimes both have laws against them in numerous states. Why should crimes go unpunished when they take cyber form? Due to this combination, there should be a combined law of these two components to make up a law for cyberbullying. Today, we have free admission to social networking anytime, anywhere. Anyone has the potential to harm and be harmed. When one sets up a profile on any social media account with their legal identity, they set up an identity that anyone can access and manipulate. Once someone is cyberbullied and humiliated on their profile of their social media accounts, it has a stronger effect that goes a long way. It can have a life-changing consequence in their personal and professional life. Rumors can be seen as truths, with no proof to believe so otherwise. Once posted, it is almost impossible to get everything removed from the internet. When traditional bullying was the only method and type of bullying, the bully did not have the ability to destroy a person's life or a person's social reputation the way the cyberbully has the power to do so today. The party of people were controlled due to restricted access. Either you physically witnessed what happened or you did not. For cyberbullying, things are different in a more severe manner. An uncontrolled party of people have the ability to access and view the victim's abuse. Not only can the cyberbully insult the victim using these media, but he or she also has the ability to take a more severe direction of destroying a person's social and professional reputation due to the direct access of the cyberspace. Cyberbullying has a stronger effect on the victim in the sense that there is no visible injury or mark to physically see. This can often lead to self-harm, and those who commit to self-harm keep it hidden. Therefore, no one is able to witness any signs that the victim is struggling or being abused. Will cyberbullying continue being the worst form of bullying once appropriate laws have been passed? Yes. Even when laws have been passed and approved, cyberbullying will still be the worst form of bullying. However, these laws being implemented and used as means of punishment for a criminal act will help to curb the large numbers of people being bullied daily on the internet. Once our society is properly educated regarding the act of cyberbullying and what the legal consequences are for those actions, we will step into the right direction. The most common argument against cyberbullying is that cyberbullying is not as destructive as other forms of bullying due to the victim having the choice to turn off their computer, laptop, tablet, or smartphone to make the bullying stop. Regardless of how one feels about cyberbullying, it is harmful nonetheless and should not be underestimated. Any form of bullying is an issue that needs to be addressed. But imagine a person being bullied using the same cruel language face to face instead of virtually. The victim here also has the choice to walk away from the bully and its heartless intentions. The problem that grows with cyberbullying is that it is visible for more people to see just than the bully and the victim. In face-to-face bullying, the victim is aware of how many people have watched them be harassed. On the other hand, cyberbullying offers a limitless and unknowing audience to accompany a cyber attack. Along with that is the fact that anyone is able to access the view the slander, because the victim is aware of that. He or she tends to bear feelings of humiliation and hopelessness. You must see that with the advancements of technology, cyberbullying has caused damage to the youth in our society, and something needs to be done against this issue. The amount of vague laws that have been set for cyberbullying are either too outdated from when they were first implemented as an issue, or just too vague with no direction of consequences. The damage, like the loss of a life, that has taken place in cyberbullying cases that can be done to be seen as a criminal harassment and a criminal act. Therefore, cyberbullying should have legislation enacted with more explicit laws with clear and real consequences pertaining to using social media to harass, intimidate, and bully. We need to protect our youth from such acts that are committed daily over the internet, and consequences must be served. Thank you.